Thank you for being here. Welcome to the Martin Luther King Celebration Dinner for 2016. Well, in April 2016, it will have been 47 years since Dr. King was assassinated, and I believe all of us here tonight believe that much work remains to be done to achieve the goals that Dr. King identified for America. At your tables, I'm pleased to see that one of the quotes I want to use is at some of your placemats, and that is that Dr. King knew the power of education. And his quote around education that I selected, there are many, is, "The function of education is to teach one to think intensively, to think critically, and intelligence plus character, that's the goal of true education." So I'll try to build on that in terms of what we do here at Western Oregon University. I am convinced that Dr. King would have been a leading voice promoting access and affordability of higher education if he were here today. Educational attainment is crucial to our efforts to understand and embrace diversity and difference. Our mission statement at Western includes a statement which says that we are going to provide effective learning opportunities that prepare students for fulfilling lives in a global society, and we support an accessible and diverse campus community. Key word here is community, of course, and that we improve continuously the educational, financial, and environmental sustainability of the university. Western takes great pride in its ability to educate a diverse community of students. The commitment to diversity is a core value for Western, and it's reflected by our students, faculty, and staff. As stated in our mission, Western is dedicated to preparing our diverse community of learners for their place in a global society. Graduates of our programs, Western's programs, are prepared to make a positive contribution to their communities and society at large. In this sense, the experience for our students at Western is transformational. That's seen in the experience of our first-generation students who will be the first in their families to graduate and set in motion change within their families for years to come, something Dr. King would be proud of. For Western to be successful, and more important for you students to have academic success, Western needs to value difference, and we must challenge ourselves to challenge assumptions about power and privilege. Recently, the Chronicle of Higher Education reported on the Black experience at University of Missouri. I wonder if Western has some of the same attributes as experienced at University of Missouri. So what is a challenge at that university is social segregation. Does Western foster an environment where we can learn from each other, or do our differences separate us? For cultural diversity to have a learning experience, we must see ways in which that draws us together to learn from one another. Stereotypes. Do we assume that African American students at Western are athletes? Last week I was at an NCAA conference where a Black alumni of University of Utah, my alma mater, spoke of the common assumption that because of his height, people thought he was a basketball player and not a PhD student, not a person who now is in a leadership position at Pennsylvania State University. And because of that factor of stereotypes, I wonder whether or not do we make and tolerate assumptions based upon race and ethnicity? Do we do that in ways that are subtle but yet penetrating and powerful? Our curriculum. Western requires 6 credits of diversity courses through a list of over 300 diversity courses, ranging from American Sign Language to German to international trade. How do these types of diversity courses and requirements prepare Western graduates to understand difference, power, and privilege in today's society? I think we need to do better. If our diversity conversation is going to be a point of strength and resiliency, we need to find a way to include that in our curriculum in a way that's different than the menu of courses that we have today. A recent book by Dee Hock, who is the founder of Visa, the credit card, is called Birth of the Chaotic Age. He makes the following observation about today's society. He says, for nearly 3 centuries, we have worked believing that ever more scientific knowledge, ever more specialization, ever more technology, and ever more hierarchical command and control, we could learn to engineer organizations. While the real need has become the understanding and coordination of variability, complexity, and effectiveness. So how can your education here at Western help you be prepared to be successful in a complex global society? I believe another insight is from a book by Daniel Goleman, Working with Emotional Intelligence. The main thesis of this book is that we are judged by traditional measures, but our success will be dependent upon how well we handle ourselves and interact with each other. Employers want listening and oral communication skills, adaptability and creative response to obstacles, personal confidence, motivation to work toward goals, pride in accomplishments, group and interpersonal effectiveness, cooperative and teamwork skills, effectiveness and a desire to make a positive contribution, and finally, leadership potential. A deep understanding of diversity is core to these issues. So how can we learn to manage ourselves? I believe we need to have a conversation around self-awareness. Emotional self-awareness means recognizing one's emotions and their effects on each other. We have to have an accurate self-assessment of who we are so that we can grow and mature. And we have to have self-confidence, a sense of self-worth and capabilities, and we need to go out on a limb for what's right. We need the ability to be decisive, to make sound decisions under uncertainty and under pressure. These are positions of self-awareness. We also have to be people of self-control, trustworthiness, honesty. We must be above reproach and build trust. Additionally, we need to think in terms of being conscientious, taking responsibility for our actions. Be careful in our work and hold yourself accountable and others accountable. We also need to have a spirit of adaptability, ability to change between tasks and understand and learn and grow. And finally, we have to be willing to be comfortable with creative ideas and new information and seek out fresh ideas and perspective. We also have to be motivated individuals. A university can help with that as well. We have to have drive and achievement, striving to meet standards of excellence. We need commitment to align our goals with goals of the organization. Initiative means readiness to act on opportunities and go beyond what is required. Cut through red tape when necessary and be able to take a principled stand. Finally, a sense of optimism is an important attribute that we need to identify according to Daniel Goleman. Persistence in pursuing goals and seeking goals despite obstacles that we face. So another key piece is how we manage our relationship with others. Through understanding others, is sensing their feelings, listening well, walk a mile in their shoes, understanding others' perspectives, developing others. Be a person who's going to develop your team, not only develop yourself, but see areas in where you can be an inspiration to your teammates. A service orientation, being willing to make a difference in your communities. And yes, diversity, cultivating opportunities through different kinds of people, respect and relate to one another from varied backgrounds, a sensitivity to group differences, and challenge bias and intolerance. Social skills include building consensus, communication, conflict management, and leadership. All of these are what is required to have the emotional intelligence to be successful beyond the intellect in the academic basis that your university will give you going forward. So one of the challenges we have here at the university and throughout the United States is to develop a community where difference becomes a strength. So at Western, I challenge us to learn from each other. As is at your table, in many cases, the function of education, according to Dr. King, is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically, and intelligence plus character. That's the true goal of education. So thank you for those time you've given me, and I want to now turn to introducing tonight's keynote speaker, Dr. Moore.
It's not often I get a chance to howl at a microphone and be well received. So what's up, woo? My primary message to Western Oregon University tonight is really tied to the word of action, particularly the young people. I think we are now living in a day and age where I think young people need to be more active, more participatory. We're going to review some of what Dr. King and those in the civil rights movement did in the past, kind of do a checkup of where we are today, but most importantly, where do we want to be in the next 25 years. But I think it's important when we're commemorating the work of Dr. King and many of those from all our communities that died, that it had a specific focus in this nation for a specific reason. The reason I'm so passionate about the work that I'm doing today is because for some reason I've been able to come into this work and realize it's the work I've been called to do. So the fact that I'm doing this work and I feel like it's making a positive impact on the world. I am as energetic and motivated as I hope my audiences are when I'm done.
I put this poem up here because it really relates to the question, are we going to really see any change anytime soon?
I want to be really specific about what students can do to help. Number one is you need to work on your unconscious biases and prejudices. So that's number one, challenging them to do their individual work. Number two, students need to understand that they're going to be a part of institutions and systems and organizations, and they're not going to be just working in those institutions, organizations. They're going to be leading them. So they need to understand the concepts of power and privilege. But the biggest and most, I think, critical message for young people in the 21st century, and I'll be challenging the students tonight with this, is silence. The best friend that hate has is silence. It's when you see oppression, when you see discrimination, when you see prejudice, and you know it's wrong, say something. I think we have too many good people with good hearts not giving voice to those who are being oppressive, degrading, and discriminatory. So voice is another key piece that I'll be challenging students with tonight.